Good morning, Internet, and welcome back to Minecraft. A special edition. This is, as you can probably see, version 1.8 beta. I came back here. I'm still working on the ocean monument. I'm not quite happy with the progress, because I've been working on kind of something special-ish. But I'm not quite ready to reveal what I've been working on yet, so I figured I'd try to stall for time. And, this is obviously an older world that I worked on, where I built my first sea base ever. And let's go in here. So there's a bunch of stuff missing. I did have a mod installed, so there was like custom blocks and everything. So if things look weird, and I have to be careful not to open some chests because it'll crash the game, but. Basically, my underwater construction has its own set of challenges, and I kind of enjoyed it, especially in the earlier days. Where now this is before enchanting, this is before potions, so there was no aqua affinity, no depth strider, no respiration, no potions of water breathing or night vision, and so on. So it was especially difficult in the vanilla Minecraft days. You know what? Yeah, the game's backed up. I'll just break stuff. So you can see part of it there. This all used to be beach. I dug up all that sand there. There's a big chunk of the desert missing over there. I ran this, let's see. And now you can see an overview of the sea base itself, the whole thing. I ran this through a program called Cartographer, which was an old utility that I don't think is supported anymore. It might be. I haven't checked. But I had a backup copy of that, and according to that, there is 29,283 blocks of glass on this map. Minus 2, because I just broke a couple. So, this is all done in vanilla, on hard mode. I'm playing it peaceful now because I don't want to be bothered, but this is all on hard difficulty. Surprisingly, if memory serves, I only died to mobs once. And I died maybe 5 or 6 times to drowning, because that was obviously the predominant threat. So, so this tower is like the first thing I built. Because I kind of had a blueprint that I laid out in Microsoft Paint to kind of get an idea of what I wanted in terms of layout. So in order to keep myself oriented, because you can't really see anything while you're underwater, I had to build this. Did I miss the door already? I might have. I built this tower. So the first thing I did is I built up, finished the tower, and then I just dug down until I reached a level that I felt was deep enough to get started. And this is it. This is where it all begins. That goes back to the base. I have a quarry under there. So most of this was built in 1.6, by the way. 1.6, 1.7. I think I quit before 1.8 came out, but I don't remember. But I'm playing it in 1.8 because it's an old enough version where I don't have to update the map. I'm not worried that it's going to break any of the game mechanically. Yeah, here we go. Ooh, cake. So this is the old stone quarry. This is all dug out with stone pickaxes. Again, no enchantment, so no efficiency, no unbreaking, no silk touch. So all the stone that was dug out of here had to be cooked back into smooth stone. Lots of redstone, which I only used a little tiny bit, but that was related to the mod, so I won't bother going into it. But yeah, version 1.8 is the oldest version that has sprinting in it. And so when I was building this originally, there was no sprint either. So it was quite time consuming to go all the way down there, which is diamond level, by the way. I figure if I'm going to be digging up all this crap, I might as well have a chance to get something good out of it. Yeah. We can sprint. So all of this walking at normal pace. And it took forever and a day to get anywhere. Yeah, digging up all the sand, turning it into glass. This is the first tunnel I built. This is where it all started. I think this intersection was added later. That doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately. It just kind of goes down and loops around. I think it doubles back under this corridor, actually. Well, we'll get to there in a minute. This is the first area that I worked on, and for a while this is my base. This was just a pit with a cow in it for a while. I had my bed in here and a little tree farm. This is one of the earliest versions that had charcoal as well, which is really helpful. Because you can imagine smelting off nearly 30,000 blocks of glass, and I forget how much smooth stone. Because the program will also tell me all the natural smooth stone, so I can't get a count on that. But clearly there's a lot of smooth stone, so melting all that up required a lot of coal, and I was happy that I could use charcoal. So I had some tree farms going. Made plenty of charcoal. All the smelting was done here. Garbage disposal pit. I have to be careful what chests I open, because I'm pretty sure this one will crash it, and maybe that one. So I'm not going to open all these chests. Yeah. But cake was a big deal. It was like the best bang for your buck in terms of healing. So back when I was playing, food didn't stack. That's why it stacks now, but it didn't stack back then. So this is all for cake making supplies. I had chickens in here somewhere. That's where I got all the eggs from. Yep. I was working in here for a while. This was actually much later. I dug down, added like a second level to this. This is a mob spawner, part of a mob spawn, part of a mob grinder. And then I have this, this is all mod related. I won't go into that because the mod isn't installed. I can't figure out how to install a mod using the Minecraft launcher to launch old versions. So nuts. It was a good mod too. It's finite liquid, which I don't think is updated to the recent versions. One of the reasons I stopped playing this map was because the mod went out of date. Sad but true. So this is the first large chamber that I built. Again, this is all in vanilla, so this is all me floating around. And you know how terrible visibility is when you're underwater, so it's practically blind. Digging it out. This is mostly dirt, and then filling it with sand and gravel, section by section, just building it out. I came in later. When I started building this, I don't think bone meal was a thing. And then, while I was playing it, there was an update that added bone meal. Or maybe I just didn't know about it. But later I came back and I just bone mealed everything. Just to add some grass and some flavor. Because this is all flat grass texture. And that's another thing too. Remember, no enchantment, so no silk touch. So the only way to get grass down here is I had to make a string of dirt blocks from the surface all the way down these hallways and let the grass grow naturally. I would just leave the game running all night and just standing there. So the game would constantly be updating. And just let the grass naturally spread from one dirt block to the next all the way down these hallways. Until it got into this room and then just spread to the whole room all by itself. That's a lot of time, but I had plenty of time because it just took a while to build. No silk touch, so every time I screwed up, I had to go back and resmelt all the ore. So I'm trying to remember the order of operations. This was the second major dome that I completed. It's basically the same dimensions as the first one, only I think it's twice as wide. Or, I know it's 3 times as wide. So I was just building domes and spaces without any real purpose or intent of what to put in them. So everything's kind of empty. I always figured I could come back later and fill it up later. This is the first area that I built and actually did some landscaping. So this is a sphere, this is a spherical bubble. I call it the topiary bubble. Right, so it's a glass sphere. It goes all the way down. I'll explain the lava in a minute. We have this nice, I love this spiral staircase design. It's very functional, and there were no stair blocks back in those days, and you couldn't do a half slab off. Like in newer versions, you can put a half slab on the top half of a block only, but in this version, you can't. You can only put a double half slab. You can't put half slab on the top half. It can only be on the bottom half or double it up like that. So the older games had a lot more restrictions, a much smaller palette of block options to work with. There's a little tree farm and hostile mobs spawning down here. If I remember correctly, hostile mobs would spawn on top of leaf blocks. So that was, you had a nice tree farm going, and you go in there, and suddenly it's raining creepers because they were all spawned on top of the grass blocks and murdering you. And creeper explosions inside a sea base is a really bad thing. Oh my. Alright, we are basically at, this is like layer 7, 8? Oops. Yeah, layer 7. So we're pretty close to bedrock, and we got this fog effect going, which is actually something they added in 1.8, because I distinctly remember this not being a problem until there was an update. Cake. Don't need cake. Not hungry. Which is really unfortunate, because you cannot see a goddamn thing. So this is the main dome. There's a platform in the middle of it. Again, I didn't really have a plan for what to put in here. And this is a really ugly stairway, because making stairways that curve at the same time is really hard. Now, I was here before, so I was expecting this. Go up a little bit, get away from that fog. So we get a nice nighttime view of the base. I think the moon is rising. Yep. So it's just turned night outside. I'm playing on peaceful again, so we don't have to worry about anything. This, unfortunately, also had a lot of slimes spawning down here, so it was a big deal. But this dome is the same size as the one surrounding the ocean monument. This is 100 blocks in diameter. And we are just barely below the surface. I think we're maybe 7 or 8 blocks below the surface of the water at its peak. So this main dome was the absolute last thing that I was working on. I shouldn't say that. There's another section that I was working on before I quit for good. But building this dome was kind of like the beginning of the end of my interest on this map. Partially because, you get this fog effect when you're down low. You can't see what the hell you're doing. That was very disheartening. In newer versions, you can actually turn this off, I believe. I think it's particle effects or something. You can disable it. Let's head up. But there was another section I was working on, and then the last straw was the mod pack not keeping up with the Minecraft versions. And then I just kind of abandoned the world, so. What a shame. So that main dome, I do have statistics just for that dome, because it was a big deal. 13,494 glass blocks for that dome, and a total inside volume of 270, just under 270,000 blocks total volume. So I had to put in, that was all sand and gravel, had to fill it in. It was actually built, there's like at the time there was like a mountain there, like an undersea mountain. There was dirt and everything there that I had to dig through and dig it all out. That took maybe 3 or 4 weeks to finish that. It was a time waster, that's for sure. I can sprint. So now we're on the other side of the ocean. I don't know if you saw it before, but this is the second tower, like a navigational tower. I kind of cheat and dig through this bit of land, And I come out on this side. And the idea was to continue the base on this side. And I had planned for a series of like bubbles. So this is the first bubble. This is the center. Carefully marked out. And then coming off at various angles, I would build other bubbles. Which, I don't know if you can see it. Wow, it's dark. Yeah, I don't know if you can see what's going on. But, you know, building another bubble there. That is an aqueduct. That's also part of the mod that's defunct. Ooh. Whoops. Now I gotta remember how to get out of here. Here we go. Yeah, this was the absolute. This is where I quit right there. Yeah, pistons were a new thing in this game too. Like they were just added. So many different things. I remember when I started this map, there was no smooth lighting. So you see how the lighting is kind of smoothed out. We can, I think, change that. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, smooth lighting was something new, and that kind of I turned it off for a while because I was used to looking at the flat shading on each block and knowing if it was too dark and there was a chance for mobs to spawning or not. So I would know just by looking at it, and with the smooth lighting, I couldn't tell anymore. And like I said, I was playing on hard difficulty at the time, and it was, yeah. I kept it off so I could make sure I placed my torches efficiently. I didn't get an idea of how many torches were in here. I wonder how many torches are in here. I can look that up, but I know there's nearly 30,000 blocks of glass, minus a couple. And at night you can really see the base kind of nice. It's all lit up. You can see that big circular platform in there, which I never had any plan for. In the main dome, I have these little domes here. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. And so let me explain the lava real quick. For a good-sized sea base, I decided that I needed a lot of depth so I could build everything nice and deep. So I had actually written a program. I believe it was called Tectonic. That I'd written a program to edit the map files, and any land that was 2 or more below the surface of the ocean, that was below water and below below layer 60, I think it was, it would shift everything down. And just running it multiple times, it would kept shifting it down, and I kind of overdid it because it would leave the last 10 layers of block untouched, and everything got shifted down until it's just at the surface of the lava. And because nothing ever updated those blocks, the water was never registered by the game as having touched the lava. So the lava's still there. It still generates light, but if you go down there and you disturb it, if you update the blocks in any way, the water will flow into the lava and create obsidian and like put all the fire out. So the idea originally was to build this, and then I would kind of branch off of here and maybe expand into that area, or I have a large area over here. Not safe to jump. Over there. I installed the mod kind of late, so this tube here runs all the way over to new land generation. So after the mod was installed, all water was the mod's water, which is different from this stuff, the vanilla water. Oh, hey, you can see the bubble in construction right there. And there's going to be a whole bunch of them, like a 3D lattice type of thing, like very Capsella inspired. I wish I had a boat. I'm not going to make it, am I? Yeah, but this was most of my time, is this view where you can't really see anything. it was rough. Good times though. And the squids. I forget when the squids were added, but they always screwed me up because I would be down deep in the deeper parts of the base, and the squids would make sounds when they hit the floor of the ocean, like walking sounds. So you would hear these squishes and these bumps, indistinguishable from mobs walking around ready to shoot you in the back. It kind of spook you out, and of course it's very quiet. There's no... I think I had the music off, so it's very... No, shh. Very spooky. And I have these torches here. These are like landmark torches because that's where the tunnel comes in. And that tunnel extends underneath here. It goes all the way across there, comes across here. And after I... Yeah, okay, here it is. After I installed the mod... after I installed the mod, I had to come all the way out here to where there was new terrain generation to get the new water. So here's the seam. And you can also tell that this is new land generation because this side where it's really, really deep is where I ran my utility to lower the ocean floor, and on this side I didn't do that. I don't think it worked with the finite liquid water anyway. It didn't know the block ID, so it would ignore it. But this was all underwater. And this right here is about 2 blocks underwater, and that goes down and connects to that tunnel. This is my little aqueduct. And that goes all the way back to the base. And I would have a supply of finite liquid, an infinite supply of finite liquid, that sounds funny, to tide me over in my base. And you can just see the tower poking up there. Get that little, the testicles, I guess. I keep hitting control to sprint. That's only in the newest versions. It's a little disorienting still, but... And I was lucky to have a desert here, because, so much glass. I started to strip mine the desert. I think you can just see it over there. There's like this bald patch. I think I'll show you this, and this will be the end of it, I think. So all of this was pre-mod. You can see all the sand is missing here, and there's no sandstone either. In these versions of the game, there was no sandstone. So there was actually more sand in the deserts of the old versions than there are in the new versions. And I spent a lot of time here just, digging up the sand, carting it down into the base, cooking it off. I really wish I knew how long I had been working on this map. It was definitely months. Well, my alarm clock is going off. That means I should probably get going with my life. So thank you all for watching. This has been a little nostalgia trip. If I don't have enough, there is one other sea base I worked on, which that might be the next episode. I'll give you a tour of that if I don't make enough progress on the Ocean Monument project. But until then, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.